We're back, guys. We're back. And Derek's so happy, seeing a happy movie. He saw a very happy movie, didn't you, Derek? So, what'd you think of Old Boy, man?
Very rarely do I say this, but if you're going to watch this one, if you're like, oh, I like watching the movies with you guys, be careful. I've never said that. Be careful. Pick a right time. Pick a mood. Because this shit is fucked up.
Yeah, right?
I'm still fucked up.
All right. What did I hiss? What did I hit? What did I miss?
Well, you hissed. What did you hiss?
What did I hiss?
You hissed a lot of it. I noticed most of it.
I was just
snakes.
Going,
yeah,
the whole time.
Most of the movie. You didn't mention they were all snakes, but it was. Other than that, it was pretty good. No, you hit this.
Oh yeah, the wing. Yeah, that shit.
You hit that. It made me laugh.
That shit is.
It made me like. It made me just go like, yeah, that was it. Because it wasn't that. It was also when he did it the first time, and then when she does it in the room at the end, I was like, yeah, nigga, that. Woo. Also, I like that you don't see the wings until then.
Until then, yeah.
Like, and
you forget about them.
Oh,
you forget about them until she sees them.
It is. What else did you hit? You hit. I mean, you hit how fucked up it was. You hit the villain. You hit Dae-Soo. That was a pretty good image of what I saw. Dae-Soo. You hit the Daredevil fight scene for sure. And I get why you said Daredevil, because in the Daredevil fight scene, what's so cool about that fight scene is he gets tired.
Yeah,
that's what makes that fight scene so real. Is because it's like as long as fuck. It's like it makes it not real because okay, clearly no human being can do this, but. He would be tired if one were to do it. Yeah, that nigga would be exhausted.
The best part about the fight scene is when he gets stabbed and he plays dead on the ground for a little bit. He's trying to catch his breath.
Catching his breath.
Yeah.
Then he gets up, and I'm talking about, bro. It wasn't. It was very much like a boxer. It looked like. So when you see it, like when you watch a boxing match, bro. When them niggas be around 12, 13, they're fucking done.
Yeah.
They're fucking done. They go to the corner and they're like, you know what I mean? And then right when they're round 14, like fucking back at it. And it's like, yo, what the so it's like, oh, I guess it can be done. It can be done. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to see somebody do it with a hammer.
Yeah, right? It's crazy that he drops the knife first. That's my favorite part.
Oh, dude.
It's like, this is about to get real as hell.
I'm about to beat them niggas with a motherfucking hammer. Yeah. Beats the kid. I think everyone in the hallway at least got to live. I feel like everybody in the elevator died.
Yeah, you know what's great is that we don't see what happens in the elevator. I think that was beautiful.
We knew enough.
Yeah, we saw what he could do.
I knew, bro. You wasn't gonna tell me some more. That was one of the dopest fight scenes because I love the single shots. This is also what I love. The nigga kept. Oh my god, that fight scene was dope because he kept. First off, so the movie isn't about fights.
No,
it ain't like Kill Bill where like nigga they are assassins. It is. Because as far as revenge movies go, this is one of the best revenge movies I've ever seen besides Kill Bill.
But there's like only 1.5 fight scenes, really.
Only 1.5 fight scenes, but they're amazing.
Yes.
But the fight scenes is like, I guess he's not a fighter. That's the thing. He's not a fighter. It's not like he's just a guy. He's just a fucking dude. So it's not like the Kill Bill fight scenes make sense. That's supposed to happen in that world. In that context, assassins, they're supposed to be fighting. There's not supposed to be fighting in this storyline, technically. The storyline is dark and it's about a fucking suicide. It's about incest.
Yeah.
And then there's, out of nowhere, 2 of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. So it's like, you see what I mean? Like in the context, it was like, yo, this movie did not need these fights. The movie was amazing without these fights, bro.
When I went into it, when I first watched it, I thought it was going to be a martial arts type movie. And it's like, it's not really that at all.
It's just a movie with an amazing storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, with just so dark.
Dark.
So...
Oh, another thing, nigga, and I get why you say now it was hard to tell because pacing. It felt like the closest thing we've done to it, and even this movie isn't close to this kind of pacing, was 3:10 to Yuma. Because it was the pacing of a Western. But I mean like an old Western. This is the pacing of like an old Western you watch with like some John Wayne or some shit where it's like, nigga, we're gonna draw this out.
Yeah.
We're gonna draw all these scenes out. And not even the scenes, even the cuts and the edits, like it's all just the story is slow, but it's not like it's still like a 2-hour movie, like a regular movie, but it just feels way slower. And not in a negative way, not slower. You know what I mean?
It's just everything.
It's like a Western. It's just the scenes are slower. Even 3:10 to Yuma is like an updated version of that because it was made more recent. When was this movie made?
2003.
Okay. But I guess foreign films maybe are still making movies like that, nigga. I don't know. But I like that shit. I like how the dialogue is, even when they talk, it's slow. Like when they talk, like when they get to talking, like it's like so much scene is going on and now they're talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I love that.
And what they're talking about is kind of like, it's not like a normal conversation. It's very, you know.
But it's giving you key notes.
Yes,
it's all disjointed though.
yeah.
It's all kind of disjointed. And you're like, and some of it's not needed in the plot. A lot of it's not needed, but like it all is at the same time. You know what I mean? Just like a Western. That's what it felt like, bro. It felt like a dope. And then I guess also the revenge aspect of it made it feel like that. Like,
my favorite thing about the movie, and I felt like I didn't get to really explain it during my explanation because it was just so hard, was that the music is definitely almost like a character in this movie.
oh, for sure. For sure. Every time something sad happens, or every time something bad's about to happen, every time first off, the gas melody, every time something bad's about to happen, there's a fucking certain kind of noise. Every time something really sad's about to happen, there's a certain kind of noise. And yeah, that became like its own theme.
My favorite part of the
silence of the villains, I like that. I like when they showed the villains sometimes it was pure
quiet.
I like that shit.
My favorite was the happy ending at the end, turning into the sad music again. It's just like when he goes to the hypnotist.
He thinks he's gonna get rid of it, and then nigga don't get rid of shit. Man, I watched this shit with Sam.
Yeah,
and she said it best right at the end of the movie, nigga. She was like, yo, you did a lot for somebody to say one thing.
I know, right? I know.
That is because that was my first thought when you told me, and then I watched it, and I'm like, because you watch it, you know what's funny? You told me it sounded a lot worse. The way you described it, it sounded like, oh man, he really did something horrible. Then I watch it, and he's like,
he forgot,
nigga. Of course I forgot. I was transferring schools. I caught you fucking your sister. I'm gonna tell somebody, and I left. Fuck you, man. You know what I mean? And you hold that on me like this. Fuck you. And then she killed herself. Guess what, bro? She was gonna kill herself anyway. You know what I mean? Don't put that on me. That's on you, dog. Stop fucking your sister. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Fuck that guy.
There's no blameless guy in this movie.
There's no blame. I like but when I heard it from you, I thought the villain was Dae-Soo. Like, he did a lot for one thing, but it sounded way worse.
No.
When I watch it, I'm like,
you just get the feeling that. Well, I mean,
But that is what happened. You told me what happened.
Yes, yeah.
So of course I took it in my own way
and make it way bigger than this. You don't really know much about Dae-Soo except that he's kind of probably not the best guy. That's the best you can say about him.
He says it a bunch, so he's not a good guy.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. I mean, he's in a drunk tank on his daughter's birthday.
Yeah, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
They set up that he's not, but I mean, he's a regular guy.
Yes.
He's a regular, not good guy. We know all these guys. You all know this. We fucking imagining the dude that you know now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just, and he ran into an evil guy. That's what happened. He fucked over the wrong guy.
Yeah, he just fucked over like a bad dude who does bad shit.
No,
It's just
a
karma.
supervillain. He fucked over.
No. I'm talking about him. Dae-Soo, you're a bad dude, and then the karma was you're bad to all these people, and then you were bad to the wrong motherfucker.
You were bad to the
You were
wrong
bad
guy.
to fucking Cartman, nigga.
Yeah.
That's a Cartman level revenge. Tell me it ain't. There's top revenge stories in the world, and y'all know Cartman feeding a motherfucking ginger family to a kid.
Yeah.
His parents.
Oh man! And then if you find out the twist in a later episode that dude's Cartman's dad as well. Cartman don't give a fuck.
Yeah, bro, he don't give a fuck.
And that's probably the most apt comparison to the bad guy.
No, this bad guy for sure. This
It's
bad
Cartman.
guy
It's
is
Cartman.
a Cartman level South Park. I mean, it's weird to say, but it's like, yeah, bro, just the revenge,
the pure evil of
the
it all.
pure evil, the pure. Man, that's so much. Also, I told you this. I said because when you watch the movie, bro, the nigga is a billionaire tech company guy.
Or whatever he is. He's
Some kind of billionaire, kind of company man. He's a billionaire company man.
Yeah.
That ain't easy. That ain't easy, dog. That takes.
It's almost like
that takes the same amount of time to plot that revenge, and I ain't playing. The same amount of effort that it took to plot that revenge perfectly.
I think what
took to become a company man, billionaire.
What makes him great is I think that because there's so much gray area in this movie. I think that was part of his revenge. It's like I need to make enough money to make all of this work. To buy this new guy his own prison, so it looks like. Yeah. So we can double cross him later. Like I think this is all part of his plan.
While doing that, you're actually in school learning. You know what I mean? Like you have to take time away. Like, all right, I can't think about Dae-Soo right now because I actually have to learn trigonometry. But
in the end, it's all for Dae-Soo.
But that's even more psycho. And then you're like, still like, all right. And once I get Dae-Soo back, I am killing myself because this sucks.
Yeah,
I miss my sister every day. I want to fuck her again.
Yep, that's all he wants. And that's Old Boy.
Beaners.
Hey.
Fucking beaners.
Back
Mexicans, thank you for joining as well, if you're Mexican.
Back in our regular seats.
Yeah. Wait, can you tell?
I don't know. We'll see.
Answer.
We'll see. Yeah, we're waiting for you.
They never speak, which is weird.
Right? You guys are people too.
Talk. It's not just me and Hassan on the room.
Yeah.
Hassan, Ahmad, are you ready to do a movie today?
Let's do it.
Jasahim, can you tell me what happens in... That's you, by the way. Hassan,
right.
Jasahim, Ahmad, can you tell me
So
what
close.
happens in the motion, picture, film, feature, presentation,
Mhm.
Spy Kids?
Man, I always wanted to watch this movie as a kid. So here we go. First of all, no way I'm gonna get this right. But so their parents are like spies, and they're the kid of spies.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's like the more in control one, and he's like the bad kid. And then their parents go missing, and they have like maybe another spy friend of their parents. Hey, I was going to a spy friend of their parents is like, hey, this is all their spy stuff, and shows it to them, and the kids are like, what? We gotta save our parents, and then they go and they save
Who's the bad guys? Who are the bad guys?
The bad guy is just some James Bond-esque villain.
Whoa!
That's who he's based off of, not like a real. Maybe he's trying to take over the world, and he needs their parents out of the way. And it turns out their friend who tells the kids about their parents and like is actually working for the bad guy.
How does this climax?
They find their parents. I don't know. They're probably in some kind of compound of some kind on like a mountain of some sort.
Wow, I like that. That's dope. Keep going. That's dope. Your Spy Kids movies are really good James Bond movies.
Yeah, carved into a mountain, and then they use cool gadgets and stuff. And at some point the kids get separated, but they come together, defeat the bad guy, figure the plan out, and save their parents.
And that's Spy Kids?
That's Spy Kids.
Wow. Did you see any of them, or you haven't seen any of them?
I haven't seen any of them. How many of them are there?
Dude, there's Spy Kids. There's Spy Kids 2, Lost in Translations, and Spy Kids 3D.
Okay, I know this. I remember Spy Kids 3D. All right.
Everybody, because that name was like, oh, all right, I see what you did there. Everyone's all like, I see what you did there, Spy Kids 3D.
Back during that first wave of 3D movies.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the early ones. But
Yeah.
I mean, that was, dude, those kids are probably still eating off this shit.
Yeah, they made 3 movies.
Dude,
That
right?
means at least one of them was a massive blockbuster hit, and the second one was good enough to make a
Third one. You're absolutely right. And the third one, I think, did okay because you were like 3D.
Yeah. And it's what kid doesn't want to be a spy?
True.
You know what I mean? That's like a kid's daydream.
Yeah.
So it's like they're gonna force their parents to see it.
Yeah, I saw this movie.
I wanted to make my parents see it, but
I saw it with friends.
Mosina, what happened?
God, you're such a. I love you. Movie starts with spy music. You know what I mean?
The brother and sister end up fucking in this one. I'm gonna be so mad. It's just Old Boy again.
You beat me to it. You know what's funny? I was like, who's gonna get the first Old Boy reference? I thought I was, because I was like, I'm looking at the scripts. I was like, I know I'm gonna put one in here somewhere, and you still beat me. Well done. Movie Spy Kids.
Okay.
All right, we got Pan. The music's playing. Pan over the mountains, water and mountains,
Right.
and Spy Kids. Okay, and then it keeps panning, and we zoom in on a house on a hill, really beautiful, like mansion on a hill, and you hear like the Spanish guitar, like that kind of shit, and then we see a little girl, our main little girl, looking out the window.
What was her name? Wasn't she like almost a kid star?
I think so. I think she was almost one.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. The mom comes in and she's making sure the little girl and the little brother wash up, right? And the little boy has Band-Aids all over his hands, like little colorful Band-Aids. And the mom is an agent. The mom, actress, she's the you watch Entourage?
Yes, I've seen like the first 3 seasons.
You remember? I don't know if you got there. Vince leaves Ari Gold at one point, and he gets a hot fucking. He's fucking her.
Fucking the manager.
She's the mom.
Oh, hey!
Right?
Hey,
Shout out.
hey.
I like that you got that. I don't know how far you got, but you got that far.
I got that far.
Cool.
Yeah.
She's in this, all right? So, the little girl asks for a bedtime story, and the mom's like, "Oh, well, what story do you want?" She's like, "I want the spy story." And then she's like, "Oh, the spies who fell in love." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've told this a bunch of times." And she's like, "I want to hear it again." You know what I mean? So she was like, "Okay, well, there was a man from another country, and he was on an important mission to take her out. And the little girl gets all giddy. She's like, oh, right? And then the mom, which is really funny, the mom gets really serious and she goes like, she's serious. And she's like, but you have to understand, these were dark times. Okay? These were desperate measures. Like, it's like, do you understand that?
She's trying to justify what
justify what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And so she's like, out of fear, soldiers were created that were different. And it flashes back to her in the airport, right? And she's got on like, spy shit, like a fake wig and the glasses and shit. And then you see her going around the airport, and then she's like, and I see my mark. She sees her mark, and it's Antonio Banderas.
Oh, he's in
Puss in Boots. And he's literally a cat. The whole movie.
That'd be so funny.
So they were masters. She goes, they were masters who could see danger a mile away. And through their work, wars were ended. The only thing spies were afraid of are other spies.
Dun, 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 dun.
So sometimes spies' missions are to take out other spies.
Right.
So they show her getting ready to take him out, right? And so she's in an elevator. And she's getting all her cool spy shit on and her fucking shit. And she's about to kill him. And then the elevator's door open and he's sitting there. He's just standing right there looking at her. And like that sexy guitar music plays. And he's like all looking all suave. And then he reaches in her pocket and he grabs out a picture of himself. And then she's like, and then he reaches in his pocket and then he grabs out a picture of her. Like he's supposed to kill her. And then they look at each other like, you know what I mean? And it's funny, bro. Like, oh, you were gonna, okay. And then she goes, she talks to right there. She's like, they kept making eye contact. And even though she was supposed to take him out, he was so honorable in the way he did his work and blah, blah, blah. She's like, so we kept contact, but very discreetly. And then it showed them like at a restaurant, like getting lunch. Like it shows them both like getting lunch and smiling. But then it pans back and they're like completely on opposite sides of the restaurant. That's really funny, bro. That being said, like, damn, that's funny.
That is funny. Also, what terrible spies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what? You fall in love with your mark? You know what? This is an interesting fact I know about, like, one of the things they say, like, on how to find out if someone's a spy is that if you get them pregnant, when they give birth, they instinctually talk in their native tongue.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's one of the ways you can tell if someone's a spy. If all of a sudden they're like speaking Russian when they're giving birth, because it's like too much it's too natural to hold it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're the most badass spy of all time.
It's also possible.
Dude, some people are like endure torture.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Man, I don't know.
Just do stand up, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought this up. I feel like this is like way heavy.
Talking about Spy Kids, bro.
Yeah. What is happening?
It's still an old boy week. I can tell you.
Let's rewind. Hey, so they're having a date.
I knew I said a goofy joke, and then you were like, "Hey, spies also get their balls ripped off."
Yeah. If they fuck up, a lot of people die.
Anyway. All right.
Okay, so they have a date.
Let's talk about Spy Kids.
Yeah, let's get serious.
So she goes, later they decided to embark on the most dangerous mission of all.
Parenthood.
A wedding.
Okay. Pretty good. I'm right there with you, Spy Kids.
Yeah, they decided to get married. And then it's like a big, like it shows a ring and like a big explosion, like a big unnecessarily like action-y explosion. And then it's just like her panicking at the wedding, right? And then she's being like all clumsy and like knocking shit down and like, just like her panicking and being all nervous. And then she goes, but when she saw him standing there, and then it shows her walking down the aisle, and she said, so assured in his decision. She said, she took his hands, looked deep in his eyes, and said the most dangerous words anyone could say to a person. I do. She goes, and then the problem started. And then right then you hear fucking helicopters come up, right? And then all these bad guys start coming in, everybody starts screaming, and then they look at each other like,
oh, here we go
so
again.
Us.
Yeah. Hey, babe, how us is this?
Bro, and this is a really funny shot. They're running. They're running, right? Like you see helicopters and they're running, but they're looking at each other like smiling. And then somebody and then they stop, and then like they're still smiling, and like their friends put like parachutes on them, and then they keep running, and then they jump off the cliff, and then they're falling, looking at each other, and then it pans up and then falling, and then it just like their shoots, and then they're just like two hearts.
It would have been funny if they said just married.
Yeah, I know it would have been funny.
Right?
I thought the same thing.
Writers of Spy Kids
When did this come out?
Probably 99.
Jesus, yeah, had to be. They land in the speedboat. They take off, and then she goes, and then they had a baby and retired, which is a mysterious mission in its own right. And then she gets up to walk out, and the daughter goes, this is where the daughter goes, no happily ever after? And she goes, they were better off. She kisses the little boy, says goodnight, all right?
Okay.
So she walks into the other room, and then Antonio Banderas is like, he goes, what was the story today? It's out of 8. Y'all picked that nigga. That's the nigga y'all picked.
They probably told him to ham it up too.
Oh man, I don't know, bro. I don't know because you know what's crazy? He sounds like he doesn't Philadelphia,
Okay.
and he sounds like he doesn't put some boots.
Okay, because I was gonna say if I was the director of this movie, I would tell the adults, "Hey, ham it up. This is called Spy Kids."
They bro. They're the funniest ones. I think they're way
parents?
funnier than the kids. Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Usually they are in kids stuff. The parents way funnier.
Adults are usually funnier than children.
Yeah, I mean, how funny is Randy? Another South Park guys.
South Park.
What's going on today?
Yeah, it's 2 South Park references. Randy is damn near the funniest character.
And okay, like sometimes Derek gets it on the money. So she tells him the story, and then he's mad. He's like, why are you sending them off to bed with nightmares? We are consultants, not spies. And then right then he hits a button, and like all the spy cool shit comes out. And then they're like both doing like putting their glasses and they're doing like spy homework almost.
Spy work.
Yeah, spy work.
Spy consulting work.
Yeah. And then they talk about how the little girl's been skipping school and blah, blah, blah. And she's been, and what are we going to do to deal with that? And the little boy apparently is afraid to go to school because he's getting picked on too bad. And then the dad gets mad and goes, he's getting picked on because his head's always in the cloud, in the clouds, and he's always drawing and watching that stupid TV show he likes, right? And then and then she goes, she goes, the kids are. It's more important than that. The kids are keeping secrets from us. And then he goes, secrets. And then he looks on the screen, and then he closes the tab, and she goes, speaking of secrets, what are you up to? And he's like, nothing. I wish every movie was like this. Like I wish like a
Every movie was
like
Spy
$1 Million
Kids.
Baby was supposed it's just like no subtlety though.
Yeah, no subtext, no.
No, just straight up.
Yeah, I mean, at the same, if you're making Spy Kids and you're like, well, let's add motif. You're like, what are you doing?
That's why the first one was a hit. This is kind of funny.
Yeah.
You were reading it back. I'm like, bro, this is stupid.
Everyone likes silly stuff.
It's so fun. Make silly stuff.
Make silly stuff, guys. We talk about this. There's no movies like Airplane or like
this,
those Zuckers.
This is stupid as fuck.
Yeah. Make dumb movies, guys.
They don't have to be Room.
Yeah.
Which was very funny, but.
Did you say Room?
Yeah. Yeah. Go watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
Look at us plugging other movies, bro. We shout out heavy. So she's the kids are now outside, right? And they're playing on like a jungle gym. Mm-hmm. And she kicks like her brother off, right? And then he falls and does like a goofy landing. And then she like does like a backflip and like a cool landing. Mm-hmm. And then he throws something heavy as fuck at her and he misses, right? And then without even flinching, she turns and she goes, Butterfingers. And then she keeps walking. And then he's like, we'll see about that, right? So the next morning, Antonio is saying like, this Donegan agent has gone missing, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, this is what I didn't want to tell you last night because I didn't want you to worry. And then she goes, and they're driving to school, and then the dad is going off because the little kid is in the back. The son's just in the back watching this cartoon show, right? And he goes, you don't even listen. You just sit back there and watch this show. And then it shows what he's watching, and the show is just a bunch of thumbs. Like, no. Like, okay, imagine a hand that was all thumbs, right?
Okay.
Now imagine a person that was all thumbs. Like a nigga's head is a thumb, a nigga's 2 arms is a thumb, a nigga's 2 legs is a thumb, a nigga's torso is a thumb. Okay? I know.
I'm trying.
I know, I'm sorry. I know you're like, bro, because it was like, I was like, bro, how much playing that to that dude?
But it hurts my head. Okay. So he's watching all thumbs.
He's watching these thumbs do these goofy ass shit on a cartoon show. It kind of looks like a Teletubbies production.
Okay.
But with thumbs, okay?
I'm getting through this.
So he starts, so him and his sister's like, you should cut that off. It's so lame, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts like mimicking her, but it's not him. It's just her. Mm-hmm. It's like her dubbed over.
Right.
So it's like perfect. And she's like, Mom, he's doing it again. And he's like, Mom, he's doing it again. And then he goes, she turns around and she goes, Jimmy, stop talking like your sister. Junie, not Jimmy, Junie.
Yeah.
So the dad like grabs the little TV thing right from the back and he starts looking at the show. And then when he's looking at
While
it,
he's driving?
yeah.
Okay.
And while he's
He's
looking
a spy,
at it,
whatever.
it's a spy. There's a character on the show, like they zoom into this ugly ass character, not one of these thumbs. It's like a goofy ass cartoon looking motherfucking Furby looking ugly thing. And he's looking at it, and then he pulls up the agent's missing picture, and he's like, and then right then he almost hits another kid like driving, like he's like right, and then right then so the kids are getting out, and he's saying bye to him, and then he looks at the little boy and he goes, hey son, remember if anyone gives you a hard time, remember you are a Cortez. And then the son goes, what's so special about that? And then he walks off. And right when he walks off, bro, he immediately starts getting picked on. Like these kids are like, hey, look at your fucking Band-Aids on your hands. What are you, a faggot bitch? You know what I mean? And he's like, no, I'm not.
Okay.
I have Band-Aids. And they're
Okay.
like, no, you're a faggot bitch.
Okay, I'm guessing they don't say the words faggot bitch in this.
You watch it on yourself. You know?
Man. No, well, now I want it.
So so the dad comes out the car, right? Like he's gonna do something.
Mm.
And then he stops because his son runs off and he's just like, ah. And then right then behind them, another dad goes, have a good day, son. That's right. Show him who's boss. And then he turns and it's this huge buff douchebag looking guy behind him. And then he goes, Antonio Banderas looks up at him and the guy goes, you got a problem, muchacho? And then Antonio Banderas smiles, takes his glasses off, grabs him, and throws that nigga with one hand through a school window. And then everybody's like, yeah! And then his son comes out and like, Dad, I love you so much. And he's like, I love you too. And then they're about to hug. And then he wakes up and the guy's like, do you got a problem? And he's like, no. And then he walks back to
because
his
he can't
car
do what he
like a loser.
wants, huh?
Spy.
I feel you, Antonio. You could fuck that guy up.
He could. That's
could
what
fuck
a
that guy up.
true OG is, though.
So yeah. Just like, oh, I don't need to do this.
I don't need to, but you're a lucky motherfucker.
I wouldn't have that kind of self-restraint. That's why I could never be a spy.
That's why. So the kids keep talking shit to Junie and they walk off. And then as they walk off, he's sitting there, right? Carmen, his sister walks by, Carmen, and she's going off to one of her friends about him as well. Oh, my brother's so stupid. He's such an idiot. He's always sucking. He's no fun. And then he's just hearing all this. And she just walks by and acts like she doesn't notice him. And then he's just like, and he looks at the toy, which is the guy from the TV show, which
The
is like
thumb
this,
guy.
the Willy Wonka looking character.
Yeah, okay.
It's his show.
Okay,
The
yeah.
thumbs were in the background.
Okay.
Okay. But he's this Willy Wonka looking guy. And it's a toy of him. And he's like, oh, I wish I could live in your world. Right. So they zoom in on this castle. And it's of Mr. Fluke. All right. Like Fluke. That's his name or some shit, right? And it's a Willy Wonka looking motherfucking castle, right? And he's talking to these investors. And they're talking about how they want assassins that can do something. All you did was turn our spies into these ugly Furby monsters. And it shows all the spies that are missing. And like now they're just like these ugly things that are ugly as fuck.
Okay.
That he was looking at on the show.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, it just didn't work out. He goes, Mr. Fluke guy. He goes, well, it just didn't work out as planned. When I tried to turn them into these monsters, it turned their brains into mush. But it turns out they're a hit on my TV show, right? And then they're like, well, that's not what this is about. We need agents and blah, blah, blah.
So this guy trains spies.
Yeah. No.
Uh-huh.
He makes,
Spies.
yes.
Okay.
He's like a weird artist,
Okay.
like a villain kind of
Okay.
weird artist, right?
Okay. I like
But he
that
has
premise,
investors.
Is that some dude makes spies? All right.
The main investor also, you recognize him. It's the evil nigga from Terminator 2. This guy.
Oh. The best Terminator 2 impression I've ever seen.
Too bad it's like 25 years too late.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
can't do that on stage. Hey, you guys see Terminator 2?
So that was so good. I get.
I can't tell you to even do it now. Oh my God, I didn't know you were going to freak out. Like, when it's like, yeah, have you seen Terminator 2? You're like, oh, yeah, that's it.
That's the guy. That's how he moves.
So he's in this.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh god, oh man.
The only thing that could have been better is if your arm just turned to a giant sword.
I know.
You just kill a dog.
That turn into you.
Oh god.
Oh man. Okay. Where was I? All right. Where were we?
They're hit on his TV show and they need agents.
Yes, the investor's yelling at him. We need spies, right?
Mhm.
Not these ugly Furby monsters. And then he's like, "Oh well, what about the thumbs?" And then he sends in these thumbs that were like just bodyguards, right? It's the thumbs from two, but you can tell they're supposed to be like douchey bodyguards just from their like vibe.
Okay.
Like, but they have no hands. So and they're just like, and then he's like, he's not impressed with the thumbs either. And then the guy goes, they move the table. Well, they go, well, I have something else. And he moves the table, and all the investors like back up, and it's just that guy. And then they open a door, and then down a hallway, he sees a little itty bitty kid running at him, right? And then he's looking at him. He's like, what the hell? And then he gets in a fight stance, and he goes, Jimmy? And then this little kid does a bunch of backflips over him, and then grabs him and like, bam, puts him down. And then he goes, and then the flute guy goes, you hesitated. And he goes, of course I did. It's my son. And he goes, is it? And he goes, and then he grabs him and he like pulls him and he shows like a code on his neck. And he's like, what are these? And he's like, I've invented these super ninja, blah, blah, blah. This is like a big thing. And then another kid comes up and he's like, the president's daughter. And then the president's daughter like puts him like in an arm bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like they're aiming high for these clones.
Yeah.
You just go regular people. Because I think if you were to send the president's daughter out on a mission, people are like, ain't that the president's daughter? Isn't that like...
Oh, bro, they go crazy with
That's
this.
highly recognizable.
So he tells him, this is my newest invention. I call them spy kids.
Ooh, dun dun dun.
He tries to talk to them. And so the guy goes like, oh my God, this is the greatest idea ever. And he goes, hello or something. And then the spy kid goes, and then he gets mad and he goes, these idiots won't pass as humans. And he goes, you have 2 days or I'm going to cut all your losses, and make your empire a waste, and be done with you, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, you have 2 days to get me legitimate assassins. And then right then the flute guy gets mad and he goes, kids, take him back to the chopper. And the kids like grab the guy and Terminator 2 guy and pick him up. And he's like, ow, and then you hear him like screaming as they take him off.
Not so tough now, T-1000.
T-1000, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
So right then, his number 2 walks up. And he goes, I thought it was excellent, sir. And the guy's number 2 is Monk.
Tony Shalhoub?
That's a big smile. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, I love Monk.
I know you did. I knew you were going to be excited about that.
Monk.
I knew he was in this. You didn't know he was in this, right?
I had a vague idea of
Okay.
him because I went through his filmography once, but I forgot he was in it until you're like, his number 2 was. It's like, I think this is Monk. This is Monk.
He's great. He's great in this,
He's
by
great
the
if
way.
he touches shit.
He's great in this. So
He's a great actor.
he's the number 2.
Oh, that's funny. I like to see him like that.
Yeah. So at the house, this is 2 movies in a row where the bad guys had a number 2. Just thought about that. So at the house, Banderas says to his wife, he's like, I must go on this mission, blah, blah, blah. There's too many missing agents. Somebody has to do something. And then she goes, well, how come you get to go? And she starts getting really jealous, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, because I have to do it, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I need to go too. I need this. And he goes, he says how he doesn't, he's like, oh, no, you don't understand. I don't want to go. I have to go. He goes, you just want to go. And then she goes, well, I also, and then she starts flirting and walking sexy up to him. And he goes and starts saying all these things in his ear. And he's like, well, I mean, what about the kid? Oh.
Nice.
And then right then he's like, okay. And then it cuts to like the knock on the door and then the kids open and they go, Uncle Felix. And it's like a Mexican guy that you'd recognize. I can't think of his name, but you'd recognize him.
Okay.
And then their uncle comes over. He's like, I'm over to watch the kids, Holmes. And then
nice.
Antonio has like a thin mustache now, like
Yeah.
he did earlier in the movie. And then the wife has on super hot clothes. And then they leave, right?
Mhm.
So they have this woman tell, like the woman in the box.
Right.
They're driving like in the supercar, like, they're like it's, what is James Bond woman? What's her name? M something.
Oh,
You know
it's
what
just
I'm
M.
M. That's what I mean.
M something. Yeah, I think it's just M.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think, but so that
Judy
person.
Dench or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like supposed to be that person like comes up, right? Like that would give you the mission. And they're like, good to have you back, Cortezes. You know what I mean? And they're like, good to be back, sir or ma'am. And then the lady starts flirting with Antonio. She's like, Antonio, it's really good to see you. And he's like, yeah, it's good. Good. And he gets all flustered. And the wife's just like looking at him. And then she's like, and Mrs. Cortez, as you as well. You know what I mean? And then she's like, yeah. And then so right then, they're talking to her, and then the screen gets all staticky, and then it turns into the Floop guy, the TV guy, and he goes, hello, Cortezes, and it's like a dream thing, and they're like, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh, someone's on our tail, and then they start driving the submarine really fast, and then they drive it into this gigantic, like, it looks like something out of a Marvel movie, nigga, like just humongous submarine, and then like it shines a bright light on them, and they're like, and they get sucked into it, right? So, at the house, the little boy is eating Floop's cereal. He's just like eating cereal and he's happy reading the box. And then you hear, red alert, like all over all the things around the house. Red alert, red alert, red alert. And then the uncle starts panicking. Oh no, Holmes, red alert, S.A. And
is that real? Is that, I'm just going to, it's real. It's real. It's real, because I know it's not real, but it's real for now.
Yeah, what if you watch it though? And you're like,
S.A. and Holmes? Oh my God, that'd be great. That would be great.
So the kids start, Uncle goes, follow me, kids. And they're panicking. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, there's a lot to know and no time to explain. And they go, but uncle. And he goes, first off, I'm not your uncle. And he rips off his mustache. He goes, your parents are spies and good ones too, S.A. And then they're like, the little girl's like, my parents can't be spies. They're not cool enough. That was in the trailer.
Right.
And then right then you see a thumb bursting into, like one of the thumbs bursting into the window, like a bunch of them, and they're like coming in to fight him. And then he puts the kids in this like cool car-looking box of a thing, and then they go, Felix, what do we do? And then he tells them how to drive the car, and he's like, just go, leave without me. And then they're watching the camera now of him back in the house, and he's fighting these thumbs. And then he looks at the camera and he goes, just know, the third brain lives. Tell OSS the third brain lives. And then he starts fighting the thumbs, right? And then the boy pushes the buttons, but he pushes them in the wrong order. So the car takes off, but the doors are still open. So the little girl's like almost about to fly out. And she's like, you idiot. And she's just like calling him a bunch of names, right? And he goes, stop calling me names or I'm going to call you names. He says it to her. She's like, oh, you're so stupid. And then finally, hold on.
I'm guessing he pushes the right buttons and gets
her. Oh, yeah. She yells at him, and then she finally pushes the wrong button, and then they like avoid a speedboat at the last second and like do a cool jump, and then like they jump over this other boat, and then Junie, as they're doing that, the Junie character flies out, but he holds on to the front, and then now she's trying to grab him while they're getting chased by all these speedboats and thumbs, right?
Yeah.
And then she grabs him at the last second, and as she pulls him in, his foot kicks a button, and it turns into like autopilot submarine mode, and then it right before it's about to hit some rocks, it dives last second, and like the thumbs, and then it goes under, right? And then the little girl goes, wait a minute.
Does he recognize the thumbs at all?
Who?
The kid. He watches a cartoon, right?
You couldn't see him like the whole time. It's not like you got a clear.
You got a clear.
This is all real fast going.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So the little girl goes, we are definitely gonna be late for school now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells her brother, stop shaking. He's all nervous, right? And then she goes, stop being scared. He goes, just be cool and do as I say, okay? And then they start looking around the ship, and they hit a button, and this super, like, Jarvis kind of computer comes up, like an Iron Man, and he's like, hello, we are the something ship. Do you need anything? Like one of those. And then she goes, don't touch anything, Junie. And then she looks around, and then she immediately hears him like, and she's like, Junie, what are you doing? And then he opens, like the front thing opens, and now they can like see, and it's like all these beautiful fish and like beautiful view, right? And then she goes, Junie, close your eyes. And he goes, why? She goes, close your eyes. And he closes his eyes, and then they go through a shark den. Just sharks. It's a fucking cool shot. sharks everywhere, right? Like I mean, like a den, like
A den of sharks.
hundreds of sharks.
Yeah.
You know, like monstrous too.
Right.
You know, and then she's just like looking at him, and then he's like, "Why do I have to do this?" She's like, "Just keep him shut," you know. And then finally they get through it, and then he opens his eyes, and he's all sad, and he's like, "We're never gonna see them again, huh?" And she's like, so cuts to the sister's sleeping,
So he's afraid of sharks?
huh?
Is he afraid of sharks, or is she just a dick? I want to see this cool shark thing for myself. Not my gay ass, bitch ass brother. Closes his eyes when I tell him to, bitch. What was her vibe? Was that her vibe?
Bro, this movie is like damn near barely an hour. It's gonna take so long to tell it. 'Cause, like, we can't stop.
All right.
And yes, that was right.
Okay.
So the sister is asleep and he's pushing buttons constantly, right? And then he eats and then he goes to the bathroom, and then she's like, it's like the thing says, now flushing your poop, right?
Nice.
And then it cuts to in the elevator, and the parents
We just need a pee and a fart joke, and we have a classic kids movie trifecta.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
The elevator, the parents are in the elevator of this bad guy, and they're giving up all their spy shit, right, to the thumbs. And then they walk through a prison, and they're noticing all the characters are locked in the prison, and they're recognizing, like, oh, that's this agent, right? And then right then it cuts to the upstairs, and the guy goes, "We need the brain, minion. We need the third brain. We're running out of time." And then a minion guy says, these agents will break. They've never had a weakness, and now they have two. And then the flood guy is making a sculpture, like a weird sculpture of Antonio Banderas' face.
Okay.
So the kids get to a little hut, right? And they go, "This is the safe house," because when they hit the button, when his foot hit, it said coordinates to safe house, and then it dove and took them to the safe house, right?
Right.
So now they go, "This is the safe house," and it's this like itty bitty tiny little hut. And then they walk up, and the thing goes, "What's your name?" Like the code. And then she goes, "Carmen Cortez. Full name, please." And then she goes, "Esta no juego, esta no vino, esta no buenas, esta el pelo es leche, estas domingas, esta Gustavo, esta Carmen Comenes." And then it goes, ching, and it opens up, right? And then that shit made me laugh when I saw it in the movie. I remember that as a kid. The cave is cool as shit.
Right.
It's a dope ass cave. And then she starts looking around for food, and then all the cabinets are empty. And she's like, "This is bullshit." And then she hears something, and then she looks in all the cabinets again, and then all of them are filled with like all this cool food. And she's like, "What the fuck is this?" You know what I mean?
That's wild.
Yeah. And then they find like a cool jetpacks and then money from all these countries, and then they have this like little packets of dehydrated food, and they put it in the microwave, and like 3 seconds later it was like a full McDonald's meal. You know what I mean?
Like real deal McDonald's? Like
Yeah,
McDonald's
like,
sponsored
Big
this
Mac,
clearly?
McDonald's. It was McDonald's.
Okay.
So-
But that's my favorite is like just intense product placement, and like
oh yeah.
there's like
Because-
great like Hawaii Five-0 has a great one where they just explain what a Subway sandwich is to the to the.
This one's great because it's like, oh yeah, y'all set this up for sure, so y'all can have the toys and the kids meals.
Yeah. Oh, because who would want to? All the kids want to Spy Kids to be doing.
Come on.
The best product placement was 30 Rock, and they're going, "What? You think we're gonna have crazy product placement on our show?" And then they just have a man in a giant Snapple bottle just walk around for the whole episode. Like he just pops out. Yeah, that shit's pretty good. Anyways, so McDonald's.
So the little boy is looking at a picture of the mom, right? And she's sad. And then the little girl goes, "We're going to see him again, I promise." So the parents are tied up, and they're talking about their kids, and they're complaining. And then the mom uses her wedding ring to like get them unloose, and has like a laser beam on it, and it unties the ropes
Right.
and cuts them free. And then they're running down the hallways. And as they're running down the hallways, the floor like comes apart and separates them.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, I'll get it. I'll jump." And then he backs up, and then as he goes to jump, more of the floor falls. And then he fucking just lands, and it's just glass. And then he's clever. And then he gets up, and he's like, his face is like he landed hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up. And then they go running down the hallway. Like it was just to fuck with him.
Yeah, that's really funny.
So they keep going, and then they go into this thing called the virtual room. They open the door, and they walk in, and then they're in this upside down safari. And they're like, "What the fuck?" And they try to leave and turn back, and then like as they turn back, they're just in the sky. And now they're walking through the clouds and they're looking around and they're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they fall down through these holes and then they land at a table with the Flume guy with like this big dinner table. And then he's like, with Floop, and then he's like, 15 minutes. Expected a little more, you know?
Yeah.
And then he goes, where is it?
What's he gonna do to them?
This fucking dude's weird, bro.
Is it gonna
He
be
goes,
like Batman where they have to watch this weird video?
So the minion guy tells them, he's talking to the Floop guy and telling him what to say in his ear. And he says, he tells him what to say about his children. And the Antonio Banderas guy gets up and he gets really mad like he's about to beat him up. And then he goes, careful. And then he goes, I snap my fingers. And he snaps his fingers. And then all the thumbs run up. And he goes, my fingers snap you. And Antonio's like, and then he
There's
says,
too many thumbs.
It was a lot of thumbs.
Yeah.
And then I can't believe dude said thumbs so much, bro.
Bro.
So they talk of the third brain and how it can be rebuilt. And Cortez acts like he knows nothing. He's like, I don't know how to rebuild the third brain, but he looks guilty as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show the Felix, the friend guy, on a screen, and he's the Felix agent. And he's tied up in a chair, and then he makes a weird mold of this shit, and then it's this ugly monster, and then he turns Felix into it. Like Felix guy's screaming on the screen, and then Antonio's looking at him, and he's like, and then it's done, and he looks like one of these ugly monsters now, the Felix guy, and he goes, I will never build anything for you, and then he goes, well, bye, and then he falls, and he like hits a button, and he falls through another hole, you know, so he's very Willy Wonka-esque kind of shit.
Yeah.
So the kids put on all their spy gear, right? And the daughter's reading this book on how to be a good spy. And then, it's just like literally it said how to be a spy, right?
That's fine.
And then she's showing her brother how to use these dope spy glasses. And then the little girl goes through all the rules of being a spy. Like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then she tells her brother, like, it's up to them. We have to save the day. And then right then they hear a knock at the door. And then they come up to the door, and it's the woman from the screen that was talking to them earlier,
right.
The M lady. And then she goes, I understand if you guys don't remember me and if you don't trust me, but just know I'm with OSS and I'm here to help you. They got your parents, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, okay. And they open the door and she's with all these guys. And then the little girl notices that she has the same bracelet on that her mom has. And she goes, are you with the OSS? And the lady's like, exactly. Of course I am, little girl. And then she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. Thank you. You know, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking. And then she goes, your parents sent us one last form of communication before they were taken. Do you know what this means? Floop, F-L-O-O-P. And the little boy goes, and he looks heartbroken. And then he goes, he can't be bad. Floop can't be bad. And then the lady goes, oh, he is. And then she tells him a video and shows him like all the things Floop has done, like to all these agents. And then
wait, she knows Floop, but doesn't understand the message of Floop.
So she goes, oh, yeah, this guy's really evil. She goes, have you listened to his theme song? And then she goes, yeah. And it's like, it's like all the weird things saying that, like the weird ugly monsters. She goes, play it backwards. And it's them going, help us, save us, please. It's his theme song, bro.
That's funny. That's great.
So,
make your hostages sing your theme song.
And all you gotta do is play it backwards.
What a baller ass thing to do. What a baller thing. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah.
They could have took this to a darker place if they wanted to.
Bro, can you imagine if we made Prisoners of War just like do the Office theme song? You know what I mean? That's wild. If they were the ones, if the Friends theme song were just people we captured in like Kosovo and they just
I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
You're there for me too.
Yeah, I was crying.
I mean, that theme song's good, but it's weird.
Yeah, man.
Oh God. Okay, so Felix, she goes, Felix gave us a message to give to you guys. And the lady goes, what is it? And she goes, the third brain lives. And the lady freaks out. She goes, where is it? Where is it? And she goes, oh, he didn't say. And then the little boy touches a picture of his parents. And then right then the picture like does some cool shit and it flips over. Mm-hmm. And this little like itty bitty toy brain comes up. You know what I mean? Okay. And the lady is like, she goes, search the place. It wasn't at the house. It must be here. And the little girl goes, you were at our house? And she starts to feel off. And then the little boy looks outside and he sees the thumbs and they're breaking a boat.
Okay.
They're like breaking he looks on the camera and the thumbs are not outside. But he looks on the camera and the thumbs are breaking their speedboat, like tearing it apart.
Okay.
And then he goes like, oh no. And then the lady finally sees the brain, and then she goes, oh, it's beautiful, you know? And then right then the little boy goes, they work for Floop. And then the little boy and the little girl grabs these guns and they're pointing at it and they go, don't move. And then the lady goes, you don't even know how to use those. And then she goes, they're heavy. And then she throws it.
That's fair.
And then a huge fight breaks out, right? And they're all trying to get the girl, and then she's just dodging them all cool. And she like jumps over a ceiling fan at one point. It's ridiculous, but she jumps over a ceiling fan. Like,
Nice.
bro, in that thin space between a ceiling fan and a wall, she jumps over this.
And like through it, like
yeah,
dives through.
yep. And a guy tries to reach her, and he goes, ow, like that. She risked everything for a guy to go, ooh. Yeah. That made me uncomfortable. So they're trying to grab her, right? And she's just like fucking dodging them and doing cool shit. And then one of the guys finally gets the brain, and then he puts on a jetpack and he flies off. So the little girl puts on a jetpack and then she flies after him, right?
Chasing him, yeah.
And the thumbs, like they all put on jetpacks and go after him. Okay? And then the main lady, the bad lady, she grabs Junie. And then as she's grabbing him, he's like, oh no, I'm sorry, miss. I just don't want to. And then he like pulling back and like she hits her head because he's so nervous. So she hits her head, like he knocks her out.
That's funny.
And
That's
then
really funny.
He tries to put on a jetpack, but he can't get it on. And it goes flying around and it fucking like hits the lady in the face. And then she grabs it and then it just starts burning. And she's like, ah, like the fire sign.
Oh
right?
my God.
And then the little boy goes, oof, bad hair day. And he runs out, right?
Oh my God.
And then it cuts to the lady and she's sitting there. She's like mad and her head is just. But she's not mad about it.
Oh.
She handles it pretty well.
Oh. Okay. Well, then never mind.
They show Carmen flying around. The thumbs are hot on her tail.
Right.
She flies out now, chasing him over the water. Like oh shit.
You're good.
She chases the guy back over the water. She gets a radar. She goes, ksh, and the little brother goes, where are you? And then he goes, I'm back at the cave. Where are you? And she goes, I'm right behind him. And then she goes, give me the brain. And she grabs the brain off the guy's like necklace. She grabs it. And then she sends him flying into a billboard. So the guy goes crashing through a billboard, right? Then she turns back. Like she manages to flip around. All the thumbs go by her. She grabs her brother. And like now they're flying through to the city. And her brother's slipping. And then she goes, hang on, Butterfingers. And he goes, we're almost there. She goes, he's like, don't drop me. And he's like, she's like, I'm not going to drop you. He's like, I feel like I'm slipping. She's like, I'm not going to drop you. Don't drop me. I won't. And she drops him.
Yes.
And then he's flying. And then she goes and she catches him last second. And then she goes, what would you do without me? And then like hero music starts playing. And then the thumbs are still chasing them, right? So they fly into a clothing store. And then they fly into like a rack of clothes. And then the jetpack spins for a second. And then the clothes go, like the rack of clothes goes flying back out, right?
Right.
So the thumbs go chasing the rack of clothes, and they go chasing it for a while, and then it crashes, and then they notice that they're not in there. Camera cuts back to the store, and the kids are now completely different, cool spy coat. Like, like the girl looks like she's out in some shit out the Matrix. The boy looks like he's in some shit out of Sherlock Holmes, and then they're walking in slow-mo.
Nice.
Best shot in the whole movie. And then like they both put on their glasses really cool.
I like it. We're already spies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
this movie is fast as shit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
they've got
Flops. Oh, yeah. So Flop. Oh, so Floop is making a weird ass Willy Wonka song. Literally, he's like in the middle of making an episode, and he goes, "If you follow me, you can all be free. If you dream, nasty boys and nasty girls." You can dream.
Is Floop anyone I recognize?
You say, huh?
Is Floop anyone I recognize?
Yeah, you recognize him. I don't know who he is, but you recognize him.
Okay.
And he's like, you can dream my dream. You can dream my dream. And then he gets real sad, and he's like, you can dream my dream. Cut! And then like everything like cuts out of being weird, and like all those weird ugly things, like it looks like they were floating on clouds, and like they're just dangling like this. And then he fucking punches the shit out of one. And it like spins around. And he's like, lock him up. And then all the virtual stuff, like, and he leaves out the room, and he's like, I can feel it, Minion, my show. It's almost there. It's just missing something. And Minion goes, Floop, you're spending too much time with this. You should focus on the robot children. And then Minion tells him how And then Minion says how, like, we lost the brain. He's like, but I have a way we can get it back. And he goes, how? Well, if you want to find a spy, send a spy. You want to find a child, send a child. And then the guy's like, Minion, you're a genius. Right? And so it cuts to, and they're in the city of San Diablo.
San Diablo Superchargers.
San Diablo Superchargers. San Diablo. So they're in this big city playground, right? And then they're complaining about the locator and how it doesn't work. And she's like, oh, who makes this? And it says Machete Products.
Right.
And then she looks at a picture of her dad that's in her pocket, and with another guy, and on the back of the picture it says Machete. She's like, and so the boy is about to destroy the brain, and she stops him. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, this is what Floop wants. We have to destroy it. And she's like, no, that's our bargaining chip to get our parents back. And he's like, she's like, we keep the brain for now. Just trust me, okay? And then she calls him stupid. And he goes, you better not call me names. And then she's like, or what? And he's like, I'll call you names. And then she walks off, right? So the robots walk up, the little robot version of him. And
right.
she starts talking shit to him, because she thinks it's her little brother, but it's the robot version.
Right.
She's like, oh, you're such an idiot. I told you to get away from me. What are you doing? Stop following me. And then she looks over at her little brother, and then she realizes he's like pinned up by her, the robot version of her. And then she's like, oh, shit. And she turns around. She's like, I've always wanted to do this. And then she punches the shit out of him, and then she just fucks her hand up. She's like, ah! Oh, God. And then she headbutts him, and then she's like, oh.
Classic.
She passes out, right?
Classic.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then the little boy jumps on that little Ferris wheel thing, the little thing that spins like this on the playground.
Okay, yeah, the tilt-a-whirl type thing.
Is that what it is?
It goes fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's on that, right? And then so the Spy Kids thing spins it like she's in a goddamn rocket ship test. You know what I'm saying? And then jumps on. And then now he's looking at her. And he's holding on for dear life. And then she goes up to him. And then the sister's like, destroy the brain, Junie. Just destroy it. And he grabs it, but she grabs it from him. And then as she does, he grabs her like dog tag off of her. And then she looks at him. And then she jumps off. And then her and the little other brother go flying. They fly off, right?
Yeah.
And as they fly off, a little boy looks at his mom and goes, Mama, I want those shoes. And then the mom smacks the shit out of him. And that was in the trailer as well.
Nice.
I remember that.
Nice. Some good child abuse. Some good
So they're talking now, Judy and the sister, about how stupid they are and how they didn't notice that he grabbed the dog tags off of her and how they couldn't speak English and they were just going like murmuring like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, they read the dog tags and he goes 1 of 500. And then they go, they have 500 of these? And then they go, oh, and they need the brain. It makes them smart. They're building an army. We got to save mom and dad, right? So it cuts to mom and dad and they're all tied up, right? And they're all quiet. And then Anthony is looking at the mom and he goes, I have to tell you a story. And he goes, back in the lab when I was working, in some spy lab. He goes, he has a lab coat on. He goes, we were working on something called the third brain. He goes, but when we finally finished it, it was too dangerous. It was too powerful for any man to have it. So we destroyed it. And then it shows all the scientists destroying their third brain. And then he has his and he goes, and he replaces it with like a walnut and he destroys it. He's like, but I didn't destroy mine. And then she goes, oh. And she gets mad at him. And he goes, don't get mad at me now. Just tell me what we're going to do. So it cuts back. And the kids hunt down the machete guy, right? And they go to Machete Products. And it's this Mexican dude. And it's the Mexican dude who's literally Machete.
Okay. That makes sense.
That guy.
Yeah.
Right? No, not at that time.
Mm.
This came out way before Machete.
What's his name? Danny Trejo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, he's got taco places everywhere.
Holy fuck, he does.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids, they see him, right? And they walk in and he's working on something. You can't see what he's working on, but it's on his finger. And he's like drilling something. And the little boy's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working on it's the world's smallest camera. And he's like, I don't see it. And then he points the TV at him and it's like right on him. And he's like a camera's on him. And he's like, it sees you. And the little boy's freaked out. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then he asks, who are you? The guy asks, who are you? And then the little girl says her full name, like all those Mexican words. And then all the guy's passwords open up, like his secret vaults, like all this shit opens, like everything. And he's like, you know what I mean? And then he goes, get out of here. Get out. And then she goes, why? Why do you want to get out of here? And he goes, I never want to talk about, he goes, you have the name of my brother, and I don't want to talk about my brother ever again. And then they go, you're our uncle? And then the little boy goes, are you sure? Because we already have a fake uncle. And then it cuts back to Minion, and Minion is working on the kids, and he's checking them off his like checklist and getting them right, the other Spy Kids. And then he goes, the flute guy goes, can I get back to my show now? I don't want to do this anymore. And then they go, but we're working on something. And then he goes, but Minion, I just don't believe in this anymore. And then he goes, this is all your idea, not mine. And then the Minion guy goes, so what? He goes, that's why they aren't working. Look, it's just what you see, Minion. It's not what I see. And he goes, but you see, Floop, I now have the third brain. And he goes, I don't need you anymore. And then Minion takes off his glasses, which have made him look like he's cross-eyed all movie. And he takes off his glasses, and then he like rubs his hands through his hair like he's like really sexy. And he's just not cross-eyed. That's it.
This is so random.
Yeah.
This is incredibly random.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he goes, Minion? Minion! Minion! And then he goes, lock him in the virtual room. And then all the thumbs take him to the virtual room, right?
Take
the flute guy.
Flute guy. Oh, wow.
Now Minion is now the bad guy.
Yo, what a twist. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What?
Wait, you didn't know Minion was the real bad guy?
No. What? In what?
I know, they didn't set it up at all. They just go, oh.
Yeah, this is happening, I guess. Oh, man. Is Floop going to turn into a good guy now?
God, you're the best. So, at the uncle's place, they tell him all what happened, right? And he doesn't care.
Right.
And then they go, why won't you help him? And Danny Trejo goes, it's funny, he goes, because we are brothers. And they go, so you're not going to help him? And he goes, look, Cain and Abel were brothers, and look how that turned out.
That's fair.
Very fair.
My God.
What a weird way to look at brotherhood.
Who?
And then,
What's going through your mind?
he goes, you guys are going to need something fast to get to Floops. You can't drive this yet, but once you're ready, you can. And then he shows them this really cool jet, right? Mm-hmm. And then she asks, she goes, why won't you help us, please? And he goes, no. And then it's just like a montage of her asking him like 20 times, like throughout the rest of the night,
right,
until they all fall asleep. And then he goes, no. And then he cuts the lights out. And right when he cuts the lights out, it's dark for a minute. And then you hear that you see them wake up and they go, ready? And they're like, yeah, let's go. And then they crack some glow sticks. And so now they're like, and they got all their spy gear on, pulling glow sticks. You know, they look cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
just thank God they keep the extra pair of glow sticks on them.
You got to have them, dude.
Yeah.
And so he goes to grab the map to Flumes out of, because the Danny Trejo guy has like a map to Flumes, but he keeps it in his pocket. He's like, I don't want you guys going anywhere. So he kept it in his pocket, right?
Right.
And so they grab that. And then as they grab it, they go, never send an adult to do a kid's job. Glasses on. So they take a bunch of cool spy gear and they steal the plane. And he wakes up to them and they're like taking off on the plane.
What a line.
And he's like chasing after
I've been reacting to that line now. What a line. Okay, rewind till right after the line. Sorry, I was too busy thinking about it.
They get spy gear, they do the line, they get a bunch of spy gear,
yeah,
they steal the plane. He wakes up to them stealing the plane. He's running after them mad, like, hey, hey, and then he laughs and he's like, good luck, kids. Like he loves them, you know?
Yeah.
They are his niece and nephew.
Yeah, I guess. You can't help them. They're about to go into an evil lair to save your brother, and you can't. Anyways, Danny Trejo, guy who's going to show up at the last minute to save the day.
Right.
Keep going.
So as they... So at Floops, they are making a bunch of like third brains, right? And the minions are watching over. And the minion is watching over all evilly, and he's all proud. And then they fly into Floops, and the plane is malfunctioning as they're flying into Floops. And then she goes, I'll go into manual. And then he goes off into manual, and then the plane fucks up a little bit more. And she goes, didn't you read the manual, you idiot? I told you to read the manual before you left. She starts calling him names again, right? He goes, stop calling me names. She's like, oh, you're such a booger breath. Pull up. And he goes, you call me names, I'm going to call you names. And she's like, oh, you're such a fucking, she goes, you're such some kind of idiot. Pull up. And then he goes, okay. And it's quiet. And he goes, diaper lady. And then she goes, and then it's like, you hear the thing going like, malfunction. But it's quiet in there. And then he's like, smiling.
He did it. He finally called her a name.
And then she goes, who told you? And he goes, Mom, I've known for a long time. So now we're even. And then she goes, yeah. Bam, she punches the shit out of him. And then like that wrecks the plane a little bit more, and it fucks up the landing gears. And then at the last second, they like eject, and then they dive into the water, right, as the plane crashes. And then they have on like cool scuba gear when they land in the water.
Right.
Right. So they start swimming, and the little girl goes, the water's so warm down here. And he goes, I peed. There's your pee joke.
Hey. All right, 2 or 3. Let's see if we can get to the fart.
So
Let's see if one exists.
The kids
I'm excited. We're rolling for a trifecta.
are getting brains put into their super army heads, okay?
Right.
So when they get into the 2 spy kids now, they get inside. And the little boy sees a thumb up close and he goes, a thumb, a real live. And then she grabs his mouth and the thumb turns around. Like, what was that? This thumb, like it has ears.
Yeah.
And then the thumb comes back over to him, like walks towards it, and then she takes out a piece of gum and starts chewing it really fast. And then the thumb walks up, and then she goes, and then she spits it on him, and then he electrocutes, and then he falls. And he goes, what was that? And she pulls it out, and she goes, machete, electrocuting shotgun. And he's like, cool. So
that's great.
they start running down the hallway, right? Mm-hmm. And they get undressed in their scuba stuff, and now they have regular clothes on. And they're running down the hallway, and then he's placing little things all over the walls. And then she's like, hurry up, what are you doing? And he's like, look. And he's put little camera. He's like, it's the world's smallest camera. I put them down all the hallways. And she's like, sweet. Right? So they're working together.
Finally.
They see a bunch of thumbs and ugly foogly things coming down the hallway. So the thumbs stop, right? And the foogly things are in chains. And then the spy boy drops down from the ceiling and on a little thing. And he goes, hey, where are they keeping my parents? And then he records the little thing going, and then he goes back up and he plays it. And he goes, they're keeping him in the prison downstairs. Hurry. And he goes, and the sister goes, ask them one more thing. And then he goes down and asks something else, and it's all the thumbs. And then he goes, pull me up. And then she takes out like a bubble thing and blows a bubble, and this electroshock bubble goes down, and then it pops on one of the thumbs, and then it electrocutes all the thumbs. The weirdest gadgets you've ever seen in your life.
It's great. That's great. You mean the greatest gadgets I've ever seen? Electro gum
and bubbles.
Yeah, only works when you're not chewing it. Not electric till after you chew it. Great invention.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So they see a bunch of so they're right there, and they go, okay, we'll blend in with the military kids so we can get closer. So because how are we gonna get past this? All these military kids are walking down the hallway, and they just kind of get in line with them. But right when they get in line with them, all the military kids stop, and they look at them, and then they're like, intruder, and they're like, oh shit, they're smarter now, and and they start running, and then
oh man, they got that third brain,
and then they go, we gotta go find. So they're running, and then the floor separates again in the middle, like it did with the parents.
Right. And
then the little girl has to jump, and then when she does, she doesn't make it, but she does fall through. And she's like, go find mom and dad! And she disappears. And then the little boy keeps running, and then he gets cornered, and then he goes into the virtual room.
Okay.
So when he goes into the virtual room, he looks up, and Floop is in the sky, and he's a face in the sky. And the Floop goes, you there, what's on your hands? And the little boy holds up his hand, he's got all the Band-Aids, and he goes, warts, huh? And the little boy nods, and he goes, sweaty hands derive warts. Do you know why you have sweaty hands? And the little boy goes, I'm scared. And then he goes, well, you don't look scared. And he goes, yeah, that's because I'm mad. And he goes, I thought Floop was a genius. And then Floop looks at him, and he pulls out a toy of his, and then the Floop guy goes, oh, and he's like, his face like cloud zooms, come close. You watch my show. And he goes, I did. And the Floop guy goes, like that, right?
No, he's losing ratings.
So Agent Cortez is talking to Minion, right? And the Minion guy, and then the mom goes, you guys know each other? And then he goes, yes. He was also on the Third Brain Project. And then you go, what? And then it flashes back to them the scientists working on it, and pans over one more, and it's Minion. He's got like an ugly mustache too. And he's working on the brain as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, but Minion kept putting his own ideas into the system. It got too dangerous. The SOS, he's like, I turned him in, and the SOS had to get rid of him. And he goes, and then the Minion guy goes, now I'm no artist that Floop is, but I have something else in mind for you. And he holds up a drawing that his son did of one of the ugly things. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and don't worry about your brats. They'll see you every weekday morning from 7 to 8. And then he hits a button, right? And then Antonio Banderas starts turning into something.
Right.
And it cuts. So the little girl falls into the place where they make all the thumbs. So she's like looking out this cart, and you see all the thumbs getting their heads put on, like walking down a thing. Like, you know what I mean? And
she's at a thumb making factory.
She's at the thumb factory.
Yeah. She falls through to the thumb factory, Really bad planning.
Oh, horrible planning.
Yeah, right.
So the money guy on the
But I guess you're just so happy with the fact that your bad guys are thumbs, you're not really thinking about anything else.
good point.
You're like, I can't believe you made fucking thumbs.
With arms
Yeah.
and legs and torsos. It's so funny. So the money guys are now on the way and they ask for Floop, right? And Minion goes, he is gone, but your army is complete and ready, sir. And then the guy goes, Terminator 2 guy goes, I'll be the judge of that. And he turns and then he cuts off the camera. And then the Minion guy kind of rolls his eyes and he turns and it's the lady from earlier. You know, the lady with got her head burned?
Yeah.
And her hair is completely gone except in like 3 or 4 spots.
That's funny. So she looks funny.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, let's never have children. And he's like, of course, dear. Right? And they like kiss. So Junie is now talking to Floop, right? And and Floop is like sitting on a cloud as if he's in like a therapist chair. And then he's like as if he's theraping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, so you mean to tell me Minion is the evil one? And then Floop goes, yes. He goes, I didn't want to do any of those ideas. I just want to worry about my show. And then the kid goes, so what would you do if you could shut this off? And he goes, well, I have to do it from the outside, but if I could, and he goes, well, would you if you can? And he goes, of course I would. I would do anything to stop him and see if the world could forgive me, just so I could do my show again. And then the little kid goes, well, Floop, you're my hero, so I'll help you, and then you'll help me. And then he starts chewing up a bunch of gum, right? And then the little kid, the Floop guy goes, wait. First, tell me what my show needs. It needs something. Maybe you can help it. And the little kid goes, it needs children. When then he spits the gum at him, and then the gum hits him, and it short circuits him, and then the room short circuits, and then now they're just in a room normally. And the Floop guys, come with me, and then they run out the room, right? So they run out the room. And
this is a bad idea. Don't trust this guy.
Well, the guy goes, let's stop Minion.
Yeah.
So Flop takes off, and then a thumb comes up, right? And it's in between them now. And then Flop, he doesn't stop.
Floop.
He keeps running. Floop, he keeps running. And then the little boy goes, this is for my sister. And he tackles the thumb and knocks his head off, and it's his sister. Because she was in the thumb factory where they make all the thumbs. So she put on the thumb costume.
That makes sense.
So.
What a twist. Another twist. Whoa. Spy Kids. Twist alert. Spy.
So they go to the jail. They go downstairs to the jail part, right, to get their parents out. And they notice their dad is now just this ugly ass drawing. Okay? Which looks really funny.
Right.
And they break the parents out, and the daughter is telling the mom everything she's been doing bad. She's been cutting school, this, that, and the third. And then the mom says, it's okay. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? Do you need to be free from our family? And then the daughter goes, I used to, but not anymore. And then they hug, and then the son runs up and he hugs the mom. And then he looks at Floop and he goes, you turned my dad into a Foogly? And the Floop goes, no, but maybe I can change him back. And then they take off running, right? And so right then the helicopter lands with all the money guys. And they come in and they go, gentlemen, your army is marching to us as we speak. And then right then you hear over the intercom someone go, Minion, this is Floop. We have major problems with the robot kids. Major problems. And then the guy goes, I thought Floop was gone. And he goes, he is gone. I don't know what's going on. Minion, I'm talking to you. We need you in the back. We need you in the robot something, like in the robot chamber. These robots aren't working, Minion. And he's like, I'll go deal with this. And he takes off running, right? And then when he goes, he finds it's just a little boy doing an impression of the Floop guy over the intercom.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you're not Minion. And then he starts doing an impression of Minion. And then Minion goes, stop that. And then he goes, stop that. And he keeps doing it. And right then the Spanish guitar starts playing. And he turns around and it's Antonio Banderas. Oh. And he's like, dun-dun-dun. And then he rips off his mustache. And then he goes, you have a clever boy, Cortez. And he goes, I know. He gets it from his mother. And then right then, dun-dun-dun. And then the mom appears.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then the mom's like, our daughter's pretty clever too. Dun-dun-dun. And then the daughter pops up. Which happens, and then so they tie him up, right, and they put him in the chair, and then the dad takes a clay thing and he makes this really ugly clay monster with 3 heads, and then they give him he pushes the button, but he holds his thumb on it, and he goes, "Don't let go," and then they all run out the room, right, and then the Minion guy, he's looking at it, and then he's like, "Fools," and he lets go, and then he starts turning into something, and he's laughing like maniacally,
right.
So
the Minion's now a monster with 3 heads. And it's probably going to come up in a bit.
Floop tells them they have to stop the army before the mission is a given. Because like once the mission is given, you can't stop it. There's nothing that stops the Spy Kids, nothing on Earth.
Right.
And he goes, so they run to the control room, right? And then they go, well, Floop, you have to change their programming. He's like, it's too late. And he goes, just use 2 words, make it a binary switch. Good is bad, up is down, And then he's like, that could work. And then he's like, but that's going to be a lot harder than it seems. And then she goes, we believe in you. And then the little kid goes, teach him to be good, Floop. And he's like,
it's an incredible turnaround for Floop. Incredible. He just beat the shit out of one of these things earlier.
He fucking punched him and said, lock him up, dude.
Yeah.
They're people.
Ridiculous turnaround.
Yeah.
And they just trust this guy.
They do. They're just trusting him.
Yeah.
So they're running, right? And they see their mom and dad are getting tied up by the Spy Kids that look like them.
Yeah.
And then they finally run down and they catch up to him in the hallway and they go, Mom, Dad. And mom and dad get sucked up into a ceiling. And then right then, the minion guy comes back and he comes back into the room and he's got 3 hands for hands, like 3 hands apiece for hands, and 3 heads.
Okay.
Like a head and then 3 heads come, like a head, a head, a head.
Okay.
And he looks weird as shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, the army will be ready shortly. And the guy looks at him like Terminator 2 guy's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What? Who are we in business with?
Yeah. So the kids now have to fight themselves, right?
Right.
And so they're like the robot kids are like this, and then the Spy Kids look at each other and they go, like they're ready to fight, and then the robot kids run away, and they look at each other like, we did it, and the robot kids just run up the wall and do a crazy like Matrix backflip, and they're like, and then the little girl goes, Taki mushrooms.
Nice.
I always remember that line.
Nice, because I almost said shit and you were a little kid.
And it meant the world to me.
Yeah, it did. It really did. The first time you hear curse words, man, woo! Shit's like adrenaline.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
So the little girl attaches like a slingshot thing to one of the robot's back, and it slingshots him to the ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. And then while the girl is beating up the little brother, so the robot girl, so the parents are now in the room upstairs in the room, and then the Terminator 2 guy goes, I want a demonstration, and the little boy it cuts back to the fight, and the little boy has the Carmen. He's fighting the Carmen girl, right? Mm-hmm. And the sister is talking shit. The robot sister's like, Junie, you're defenseless. You weak. You're a worthless squirt, Junie. He goes, you're nothing, and you'll never be anything. And then the real sister now is fighting the other one again, the other robot. And she goes, that's not true, Junie. You're strong. You figured this all out. You did all of this, Junie. You're strong. And then as she's saying this, the robot robot sister fucking punches concrete out the wall. Right? And she goes, Junie, you're strong. And then Junie stands up, and like, dun, 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 like Rocky music kind of plays behind him. Not like Rocky, but that kind of music. And then he goes to the concrete wall and he punches it and he goes, ah! Not that strong, Junie. God, he's so stupid.
He's pretty dumb.
He's pretty fucking dumb.
He's pretty dumb, dude. He's pretty dumb.
So she grabs him and then she goes, puny Junie. And then he's smiling at her, and then she goes, why are you smiling? And then he spits the electric gum shit at her, and she's like, zzz, and she starts shaking, and then he drops, and then they push both of them against the wall, and they spray this like concrete shit on him, like silly string stuff that turns the concrete.
Yeah.
And it holds them for a second. And then they're like, let's go find mom and dad. And then the Spy Kids, they bust out and they start chasing after them.
Right.
Okay. So close your eyes. Like they run in on their parents.
Right.
And their parents are being held by like 6 or 7 bad guys. And they go, honey, close your eyes. And the little kids close their eyes and you hear a bunch of fight noises. And then they're like, we don't want you to see this. And you keep hearing fighting. And then they open their eyes and then you see all the security guys just beat the shit, right? And then the kids are like, wow.
Yeah.
So they all the bad kids now are walking down the hallway coming at him. And then the father goes, any ideas? And then Minion goes, wonderful. And then Minion's like watching, smiling. And the Terminator 2 guy, he's watching, smiling. And these kids are coming and they're closing in on him. And then the dad goes, Banderas goes, okay, I'll take the 100 on the right. Mom, you take the 100 on the left. Carmen, 100 on the right center. And Judy, 100 on the left center. And then he goes, but Dad, we need one more person. There's 500. There's 100 more. Right then, through the window.
Danny Trejo. Hell yeah, baby.
He busts through. Hello, little brother. And then you hear the Terminator 2 guy, children, tear him limb from limb. Or Minion, one of them yells that. And then Floop, right? He's working, shows him he's working like crazy, right? And then he goes, of course. And then he hits a bunch of codes. And then all the kids go from fight stance to cheering like, ah! And they go and they run past the all the Cortezes, and they go to all the bad guys and they start like throwing them in the air, like playing with them. And then they're all like, what's going on? And then it cuts back to the brothers, right? Antonio and Danny, and the music gets really intense. And they're looking at each other. And then he goes, why did you come back? And then Danny Trejo goes, same reason I left. And then Antonio looks at him and he goes, I don't remember that. And then the brother goes, neither do I. Oh God. And then he hugs. And then Antonio's like, oh, okay. It's okay. He's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that.
That's funny.
And he's just like bawling. He's like,
so we'd never find out why they go several ways. That's great. God, this movie is retarded.
Retarded, bro.
Yeah.
Just patting him on the back, right? And then okay. And then so he goes so they see Floop, right? And then they go, so what did you teach them? And then he goes, no, it's what you taught me.
Did they throw up immediately?
No, not yet. Junie, are you pure? He said, Junie, you are pure of heart and mind. And now the robots have learned that as well. And then the mom says, she goes, the mom says, well, I got the adventure I wanted, and we didn't do one thing right. She's looking at the husband, and then the husband goes, no, we did two things right. And then the mom goes, we have something to tell you, kids. We're secret agents. We have something to tell you, too.
So
we're secret agents.
Ooh, another good
they all
line.
put their hands in, like,
yeah.
You want to do it?
Oh, okay.
Like that? And
yeah.
they all do like, it's like one of those moves.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, they cheer. And
I like that. We just had a little teamwork right
there.
there.
You're sitting in both cameras.
Yeah.
And then that's why I want to see how it looked too. And then back at the home, right? So
Yeah.
that's back to their house, the Spanish house on the hill, and they're watching the news. And the news lady is talking about how these super kids are going around the world doing incredibly good deeds. And then you see a kid, like a huge burning building, and then you see a kid pulling out firemen. And then all the firemen are like thanking these kids.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know, and the kid's just like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then Machete and his brother, they're like at the table and they're eating and they're arguing. And then the daughter goes, boys, stop fighting. And then they smile at each other. And then the mom and the dad, they kiss. And then they're watching the show, and then they're watching the Floop show, and Floop's like, I'd like to introduce two new characters, Carmenita and Juanito. Junito. And then it's the robot kid versions of them, and they like smile, big smiles. And then the TV cuts, and then it's the M guy again, like whoever that person would be, right? And he goes, guys, I need you for another mission. Cortezes, I need you for another mission. And you can't see the man's eyes, but it's clearly George Clooney.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's George Clooney. Not like it looks like George. It's George Clooney.
What's
George?
George?
But it's just like barely his eyes. So you see, oh, that's George Clooney.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing hiding that is George Clooney.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I know. And
what happens to the Minion?
Hmm?
Do you know what happens to the Minion?
No.
Okay. I like that. I didn't think this movie would leave the bad guy story open-ended, but you know, sometimes you go to kids' movies and it makes you think. Makes you be like, what happened?
So
It's like the Inception ending.
oh, it is like this is a lot like that.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of when I first.
So sorry, he goes, so his eyes are blacked out, right? And then the mom goes, oh, sorry, Devlin, we have to talk about this as a family. The decision is up to us and our kids. And then George Clooney grabs the black box and removes it like it's glasses. So now you see his whole face.
Yeah.
And he goes, I wasn't talking to you. he goes, I was talking to Carmen and Junie. They're the two best agents we have ever seen. And he goes, we want you guys. Would you accept the mission? And then he puts the eyes back. And then the little girl goes, you want the Cortezes? You take all the Cortezes. Spy work, that's easy. Keeping our family together, now that's difficult. And that's the mission worth fighting for. Boop. Presses a button. Fade to black. Spy Kids.
Oh. What? Why am I chatting with a message? The fuck? The fuck are you doing? Edit with those thumbs. What are you doing?
End it with the thumbs doing backflips.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You're absolutely right.
Oh, man, I was in it till then.
That's fucking Spy Kids.
Later, guys.